Hey y'all, what's up? I'm Mimi, aka the Pisceans here, and this is one of your daily collective messages. Like, and subscribe if you get anything out of this. Thank you so very much for those of you who do like, subscribe, and comment. It is always and forever going to be loved and appreciated. God, archangels, ancestors, ascended masters, cosmic guides, all beings of the highest and purest white light, only with the best interest of me and the collective at heart. You are always and forever welcome into my readings. Okay, please give my wonderful, fabulous, and amazing Pisceans here family the best and most accurate information for them at this time. Hello, my beautiful lovers. Welcome to any new subscribers. Okay, welcome back to my beautiful subscribers who are already here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so very much for coming, and thanks for coming back. So this is an archangel Metatron message. Okay, so before I push record, the song "Timeless" was playing by The Weeknd, and he says, "Ever since I was a kid, I've been legit." Okay, and, so you hella timeless, baby. Like ever since you was a kid, you've been legit. Okay, you have like a different kind of energy, a really beautiful swag about you. I seen 101. Okay, I feel like when it just comes to your life and to the way you make decisions, like God is totally involved in every single part of that. So like it's really important that you don't worry about that. Okay, Brain Stew by Green Day. Okay, so also make sure that you're keeping your mind clear, that you don't have like all of these different things going on in your head or all of these conflicting thoughts. Like really take time to spend time with your angels and guides as much as possible whenever you get the chance, and just ask them to like work on things like your subconscious, your emotional body, your mental body, your light body. That's so important right now is what he's saying. Okay, so the note that I got is shh, listen, it's gone quiet. No birds, no crickets, no nothing. Okay, so I feel like you are shutting quite a few people up at this time, shutting them down. Okay, but I mean, I don't feel like it's completely quiet, right? You just can't hear that shit that they're talking, or you just can't hear, what people are saying or how they're focused on you. You just really don't see it. I feel like it's kind of something that your angel guides really don't want you to even be worried about. Like they just want you to be happy, to be skipping around this shit and enjoying your day, enjoying your life. That is a quote from the movie The Headless Horseman, which I was watching with my family a couple of weeks ago. Okay, it's 12:22. That could be significant. You could be seeing 1222. Okay, you could be seeing a lots of ones and twos. Okay, I feel like you're very balanced at this time. Okay, but he had me look up the headless horseman symbolism. Okay, so it says the persistent, so the headless horseman symbolizes the persistent and often frightening nature of the past. Okay, the terror of the unknown and the struggle between superstition and reason. Okay, so try to stay far away from superstition, baby. Okay, like if you don't feel it like really for real in your intuition that like something's gonna hurt you or something is a problem, that you do it, like just don't worry about it. Like you could come from a really superstitious family, and I think there are a lot of superstitions in your family and a lot of people's family that just really are ridiculous and they just really don't matter. So try not to be so superstitious. Know that it's okay to trust your reason, to trust your logic and all of those different things. Like integrate that supernatural energy into your logic, okay? Because it is really quite logical once you start to do it, and you kind of laugh at yourself. I laugh at myself all the time, okay? So it says, as a supernatural entity seeking ahead, the horseman represents how history, particularly past traumas and injustices, can haunt and torment the present. So it kind of gives me this energy with, everybody, everything going quiet, everything being like you just not hearing nothing or not really hearing too many like opinions and things from the people on the outside of you. I feel like they could be being faced with their past, the parts of themselves that you already had to face within yourself, if that makes any sense. Like they're being faced with their own traumas, being presented with their own injustices, and they're kind of being tormented by their own past. Okay, it says he also reflects anxieties about war and violence, the dehumanizing effects of conflict, and the fragility of identity and self-discovery. Okay, so I mean, I don't know, people could be like in a fragile state when it comes to like their mental and how they're thinking. I feel like people are starting to recognize that they've kind of lost their heads a little bit. But also, I was doing a reading. Okay, I find this so interesting because I was doing a reading for myself last night. I was doing some shadow work, and I used the Kali deck, and I got Chinamashtra. which is the form of Kali where she cuts off her own head, right? She cuts off her own head and she partakes of her own blood. Like it's a picture of just like her from here up, and her head is decapitated. There's like a space, and then there's blood flowing and blood flowing out of the mouth, And I was reading it, and it was saying like she's not dead, she's just cut off. She's severed these past ways of thinking. She's severed these old mentalities in her own life, and she partakes of the blood or of the new life. She is kind of like, it says, eating seeds of pastime activity, the toxicity of our city. So I feel like you have severed your way of thinking about these past traumas. You've released a lot of toxicity in your life, and you're no longer struggling with this energy of like an unresolved history, or like your traumas and your memories. You think of them more as like a testimony, or as like, this great story about how God showed up for you, but you could have a little fear of the unknown, and Metatron wants you to pay a little bit of attention to that. There's nothing to fear when it comes to the unknown. You really are truly made and designed to thrive in the darkness, and that's why your life has been the way that it's been up until this point. It's all her training, okay? It's all been training, so use your training to like the best of your abilities. Don't be afraid, don't fear. You can see in the dark, okay? You are the light in the darkness, so there's nothing ever for you to be afraid of. I feel like you could have been being like just very humble lately, and I feel like you've also been very focused on the positive. I think you've been talking less and feeling more, as far as like the way that you move through life and the way that you deal with other people, and that's really good. That's what you need to keep going. Also, Cancer, Leo, and Sagittarius could be significant, okay? That could be your sign, or you could have any of those signs highly aspected in your chart, okay? Whew. But what is their overall energy, Archangel Metatron? It says know your worth, okay? So there's like some sort of booth, okay? Some sort of boost coming in, but a booth makes me think of a kissing booth, okay? So you can have a lot of people interested in you now that you know your worth, I feel like people are really attracted to your grounded energy that you have going on, like people could describe you as like down to earth, but they don't really realize like that's the grounded energy that's shining on the outside of you, and people really like that. You should really like stay right there in that energy. I feel like also that energy is attracting a lot of people to you who can like assist you. You could be attracting soul family members at this time, okay? Yeah, we got find a balance with full moon and Libra, okay? So I feel like he's saying when things do get difficult, or if things do get hard, or you do feel yourself being paralyzed by that fear of the unknown, or even by a fear of loneliness, or if you get afraid and you feel like things are too risky and they're not really worth your time, he's saying like take that time, recenter, find your balance, pray, meditate, and then make your decision from there, okay? As long as the time is allowed to do that. But they're not going to present you with anything where you don't have time to like think about it, or to like, reflect on it. Yeah, it says attend to the details right here with this last quarter moon in Virgo energy. And then we got full moon in Scorpio, which says breathe through the tension, So that's like perfect confirmation on what I was just saying. Like you've done a lot of detoxifying, and I think like, I don't know, there's could be some words that need to be said, to the divine in order for that to be released from your energy. Because when, like I said, I was doing shadow work last night, and that's what they had me doing. The things that came out in the reading, the things that came out like for my subconscious and things like that. But this really good energy came out with that energy too, and the angels were just telling me like, yeah, these are the things that you need to release, So they had me like literally ask them to release these things, to release anything that's old out of my subconscious, out of my energy. Then they had me using the violet flame, And I've been so emotional, been crying a lot, and been going through a lot of things, And they told me that I'm kind of going through a minor dark night of the soul, because I've kind of like, I've made some sort of advancement, or I'm making some sort of progress, And I feel like he's just having me tell you this about me because it's very relevant for you, know, they have me do all kinds of things that they want me to tell you guys to do too, you know. And so this is definitely one of them. So like if you do pull cards for yourself or something like that, you know, that this is how I use my cards. You know, I really love to do shadow work with my cards, and that shit got me to this point where I'm at right now, and I'm just so grateful for it, and that's why I share it with other people, you know. So if you get the chance, please use your cards and really dig into your subconscious, into your mind, into your emotions, and find out if there's anything there that you may need to release, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean that those energies are blocking you or holding you back in any way, but it's always really good to release those kinds of energies in order to make room for more, or to make room for new energy that your angel guides or any other guides might want to put into your energy at that time, okay? So pay attention to that, okay? Right. Yeah. Dang, okay? Already stuff falling on the floor. We got Maine, okay? So Maine could be significant. Also, pay attention to patterns, okay? So we got pay attention to patterns when it comes to the people on the outside of you, okay? Pay attention to like how people move and all of that strange shit. You know, I heard weird shit for real. It says you're a positive motivating force within my life, you know. I feel like you're a very positive motivating force within the lives of many, you know. And like a lot of people might feel like, you know, you're out to get them, or you're out to get some sort of revenge because they know that they deserve that shit. But I just don't think that you are. I seen 1122 because like I said, you're really in a place of balance, and you know that the best revenge is to just love them anyway because they're sick, or they're not in their right mind, or they know not what they do, you know. And that's a great mentality to have. I picked up MK Ultra vibes, but it was in reverse, you know. I feel like it's very apparent that if there was any MK Ultra going on in your life or in your brain, you have definitely broke out of that shit, and people are realizing that they cannot control you, you know. Earlier, I was shuffling the decks, and I was hearing, like a lot of people around you are trained, okay? They're trained to make deaths look like an accident, okay? They're trained to look like they don't do magic. They're trained to look to be handlers and never tell anybody that they're a handler, okay? Okay? They're trained, okay? So just pay attention to those people that you get weird feelings about, or those people that push you into like a really private place. It's because they're trained, and you know that shit intuitively, okay? We got Tales of Detection. I don't know what I'm gonna call this reading already, okay? So your Tales of Detection work absolutely fabulously, okay? The Tales of Detection, that is the action or process of identifying the presence of something concealed, okay? So like I said, they're trained, and you know it, okay? They're trained, and you know they're trained to handle you in a certain way. And I think that's why things are so quiet, you know, because before they were trying to, you know, groom you, trying to guide you, trying to tell you this, trying to tell you that, and trying to trick you. And now people know they can't trick you anymore, okay? We got Wrong Way by Sublime playing, you know? It's the wrong way. Come on. So I see Mississippi. What's going on with this outside energy, though? What is this? Settling legal matters, okay? There could be some legal matters being settled on the outside of you, or some legal matters that are about to be settled. It kind of gives me the vibe of some shit you don't even know about, okay? Like, there's something going on, like some sort of, I heard legal proceedings, some sort of legal proceedings going down that you're unaware of, okay? We got Pennsylvania, okay, so that could be significant. I don't keep the places as overall energy. I just pull them out because they came out, and that makes them significant, you know. We got the most powerful. No, most powerful is he who has himself in his own power, okay? So, I mean, people are looking at you like you're very powerful. They're recognizing this beautiful power that you've built up within yourself, okay? Like, period. They just looking at you in awe, okay? Like, they just can't believe you, okay? We got Kansas, okay? It says the jealousy and hate is real, okay? It says ashamed of the choices they have made in life. Dang, I couldn't even pick it up, okay? And maybe that could be an issue too. Like some people around you could be having a hard time facing like their own choices and their own decisions. Like I said, they're in that headless horseman type of energy, you know? Like they just really don't understand a lot of things. It says, give me but one firm spot on which to stand and I shall move the earth, you know? And you know that's your energy. Like all you need is one firm spot to stand on. All you need is to feel safe, to feel secure, and to feel that foundation, and you can move anything around here, you know? And I think people are just really recognizing that kind of power that you carry, and it's kind of intimidating. It's a little bit scary. This song is called Around the World by Hot Chili Peppers, okay? So first of all, you hot, okay? I heard, ooh, shit, you looking hot, okay? So you looking hot, you know? And also I feel like you could be meant to touch a lot of people around the world, you know? Or you could be meant to travel to a lot of different places around the world just to experience that energy or to experience certain things, you know, or certain people or whatever, okay? We got Hawaii. You could be wanting to go to Hawaii really bad. I feel like that could be a place on the earth that you're like specifically called to. You also could be like called to certain monuments, you know, pyramids and things like that. I feel like you could be really called to travel, but you really haven't gotten into it, or you really haven't gotten into that place financially where you're ready to travel to all those places. Either that, or you're just like you already are well traveled and you've been to those places that call you. Those places that call you are very significant, okay? And you're receiving a lot of jealousy and hate for the things that you are about to accomplish, but hating behind the scenes about to have people broken homeless, okay? We got Minnesota, okay? And we got they resent you for evolving past the old you, okay? Look, and they love to play these games, okay? They love to play these games, but you refuse to play these games with them. You know your worth and you found your balance, and you refuse to take it there with these lonely ass folks, okay? I seen giving too much. Maybe you could have been giving too much to the people around you in the past, you know. That could be another reason why things are very quiet, you know. Like you could notice that people really aren't asking you for things anymore or trying to use you because they know they can't use your ass no more, okay? It says you are depleted because you give too much. You need to balance. You need a balance of give and take, but that's past energy, you know. Now you've found this balance of give and take, and you're no longer depleting yourself for the well-being of others, and that's really beautiful, and that's why the jealousy and hate is so real, right? All right, what's this? It says excuses, okay? So, I mean, I don't know. People around you could be making excuses. They could have so many reasons why things never work or why things never go their way. They could even be blaming you for the reasons why shit cannot work. Instead of finding reasons or solutions to their problems, they're always complaining and whining about why something ain't going right for them, okay? It's because they're not being themselves, okay? It says not being you, okay? These are people who are trying to walk in your energy, okay? It says you're trying to project a perfect image, but it's not really you. Be yourself. You know, these bitches need to be themselves. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why do you feel like it's so uncomfortable trying to be something other than what you are. You know, and that's just the thing. Like I just get this energy of like people. I heard so thick that everybody else in the room is so uncomfortable. Ass on Houston, Texas, but the face looked just like Claire Huxtable. Yeah, okay, you the motherfucking man. Okay, you don't need no help. That's some Drake lyrics. Okay, so. I feel like it's like when you walk in the room, you make people uncomfortable. You can have a big butt, you know, or you could just be very beautiful, very handsome, and it just makes people like, ugh, you just like get under bitch's skin as soon as you enter a room, okay? We got fixing them. You could have been spending a lot of time trying to fix the people around you, but I think that you've learned that you can't fix someone, okay? It says they have to want to change, accept them, or let them go. And I feel like ultimately you've had to choose to let a lot of people go because you figured out that you could not fix them, you know? And also with this broken mirror energy and that superstition shit I was talking about earlier, you know, somebody could feel like, you know, oh, they got they got 7 years of bad luck, you know, because, you know, they did this or they did something. It's like, you know, oh, I would have my shit together, but, you know, 2 years ago I broke that mirror and now I'm gonna have the 7 years of bad luck. You know, it's like the people on the outside of you are choosing to speak negativity or to speak something bad into their own life, you know. It's my song. So we got rushing, okay? The song said, "Take your time. What's the rush?" Okay, so you could be in a bit of a rush to like get to a certain place. Maybe you want to hurry up and get away from these people, you know. And also, it says you can't hurry love, you know. Going back to that energy of you trying to fix people, you know. Maybe you're trying to like fix past lovers or trying to fix family members or whatever, you know. And I think that now that you've embraced divine timing, things are actually going a lot faster than it was when you were working yourself so hard to the bone and trying to fix everything and trying to control everything and trying to make sure everything worked out for you for the best, you know. Like, you're doing such a great job. I feel like you're being very open, you're being very vulnerable, you're being very loving with people, and it seems like that energy is pissing them off way more than when you was having an attitude and you was checking bitches and you was saying yes to everything, you know. Like, it's like, even though you were, yeah, look, too passive, okay, like, and people loved it when you were too passive though. Now you take initiative. Now you go out of your way to ignite your own passions, and that shit is so upsetting. What's excuses and not being you? We got criticizing, okay? So now people are trying to like be very critical of you. I mean, you could be receiving a lot of judgment, a lot of people trying to act like you doing something to them, you know, like you bothering them in some sort of way just by being happy or just by having boundaries, you know. Like, people feel really, I don't know, they feel really inferior to you in some sort of way. It says focus on their good qualities though, you know, try your best to just like see the positive, to see the parts of people that you actually like, and just separate yourself when you see that bullshit that you know you don't like, you know. It's giving the energy of like people that you can't help but to be around, you know, co-workers, family members, and things like that, you know. What's not being you and fixing them, but there's like major judgment. Yeah, we got expectations. I feel like people have a lot of expectations of you. There are a lot of things that they expect you to do, or a lot of ways that they expect you to be, but they don't even expect anything of themselves. They just like, it's like they expect such negative things from themselves, but then they expect you to come into their life and be this beautiful, positive light and give them so much time and energy. Yeah, while they be cold to you and be negative and judge you and talk shit about you behind your back, you know. And so right now, like, it's so quiet because you given like such an unapproachable energy. You given that do not come toward me with that aloof fake ass bullshit, because I'm not gonna entertain that shit. And it's something that's like, it's like it's being broadcast on the outside. Like so it's showing me like, you know, you, right? And then your auric field all around you, really big, really sparkly, and it having like speakers on the outside of it that announce like every 5 seconds, like, leave me the fuck alone. Do not come toward me. Do not fuck with me right now. You know, you giving real unfuckwithable type of energy. And even though it's the people that are being cold are perceiving you that way, it's like a defense mechanism that they're seeing only their energy when they look at you, you know? So you're being protected in this way. What's rushing and too passive? We got too hard, okay? I don't know. I'm just hearing, I'm so hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm so hard. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people feel like, you know, like, and I mean, that song, what does she say? Brilliant, resilient, fan mail from 27 million, and I want it all. Okay, the money, the fame, the cars, the clothes, or some shit like that, you know. I feel like people feel like it's too hard to access you now, you know, like now that you have goals and you have things that you want to attain, things that you want to attract, now that you're so fertile and like the masculine and feminine sides of you are nurturing this baby that the divine has, you know, instructed you to birth and care for, you know. It's like you just don't have time, and people know like it's just way too hard to get into your energy at this time, you know, but they're still trying. and you're just flowing naturally in your life and letting love in and letting amazing things happen, and it's like amazing things are happening right in their face because they're so focused on trying to like break down your walls or get into your energy. They're so busy trying to take you backwards that they can't even focus on a new way or some other way to like attack you or to get into your energy. It's like they're distracting themselves. And it's like this is a bunch of people that ain't even your type. Look, and that's why they not talking, okay? Because they over here trying to be needy, okay? People are being quiet because they want you to reach out. They want you to baby them, to care for them, to step in and, be that nice shoulder for them to cry on. And it's like, the shit's not even genuine. It's like their problems are not even real problems. They're problems that could be easily fixed by just putting in a little bit of effort. Whew. Let me tell you something, baby. God is not having it, okay? With the Hierophant and the Three of Wands, that's all the divine is worried about when it comes to you, is you following your divine directions, okay? They don't care about nothing else. They don't care about these jealous and hateful people, and it's like the divine is already very aware of what's going to go down with these folks, and they don't want you to worry about that. They want you to worry only about your happiness, about protecting, your city, your energy, because this is the Buffy and the Vampire Slayer deck. So that's Buffy back there fighting a vampire, but this is the Four of Wands, okay? So it's all about you protecting your happiness, protecting, what the divine has given to you, and letting these sneaky people sneak their way right into the same energy that they think that they walking out of. He's showing me like somebody walking, like sneaking out of a door and sneaking around in a circle and sneaking into the same door, like somebody's trapped in a cycle of being very sneaky, being very judgmental, being very nasty, and then making all of these excuses why things aren't going right in their life because they refuse to acknowledge themselves or the way that they move. What's excuses? Not being you and criticizing. Ooh, we got the Eight of Swords, okay? Look, they trapped in a motherfucking cycle, okay? In this cycle of trying to be something other than what God made them, okay? And looking at you and worrying about what is for you, It's like at the end of the day, their greatest wish is to hold your pinnacle or to hold your energy in some sort of way, It says most powerful is he who has himself in his own power, and that's why they're powerless and why they forced to just shut the fuck up and watch. What's fixing themselves being cold and rushing? We got the King of Stakes, okay? Because you're out here being a leader, okay? And also, this is Xander, I feel like you have like a really great sense of humor about things also, And it's like they might even be trying to like go to other people, because like I said before, it's quiet when it comes to them talking to you or what they really want to say to you, but they talking a lot to other people, and they're criticizing you and judging you and talking about how you so cold and how you so nasty in those moments, but it's hard to paint you like that, I feel like you're very warm, very beautiful, very nice. Like I said, you're down to earth, you're amazing, and you find the humor in life, and that's how you lead by example. And it's very intimidating to these folks, okay? What's rushing, too passive, and too hard? We got the Six of Stakes, okay? Like I said, they see you. People see you for who you really truly are because you have found yourself in your own power. You're expressing your real, beautiful, and authentic and amazing truth. And nobody could copy that shit. And it's got some people pressed, okay? And it's quiet, ain't no back talk, period. Quiet, ain't no back talk, okay? Yeah, we got the Five of Stakes, so like there's a lot of conflict going on with these people within themselves, They feel very ashamed of the choices that they've made, and they have a lot of things on their mind with these expectations, It's like this energy of them expecting a lot of things out of life with no effort, but then looking at you putting in all this effort and getting everything that you want when you want it or when you need it, and then getting mad at you because they didn't get the things that they wanted, but they didn't put any effort into it. What's the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Stakes? We got the Nine of Stakes, okay? What I'm saying. So it's like they don't allow the things that they've been through, because this is the nine of stakes, like I said, the nine of wands, which usually has someone on there looking tired, looking battle weary, looking torn down, and looking like, they so tired they don't want to go on, but they still continue, right? And I feel like maybe you used to have that kind of mentality, but now you allow your shadow, things that you've been through, your experiences, and all of those things to be things that power you up, things that light you up, and it motivates you, and it keeps that inner fire lit, and you accomplish so many beautiful things no matter who's throwing conflict at you or who's throwing dirt on your name. You always gonna reach this Ten of Pentacles type of energy, and bitches is pressed, okay? Yeah, with the hangman, okay? They in contemplation. But they still missing the point exactly with the sun. Like they feel so exposed, but they still not exposing the important parts within themselves that need to be seen in order for them to make this positive movement forward. So just keep doing what it is that you do, baby, okay? With the magician, keep manifesting and spending this time to yourself and working on this beautiful magic within yourself, because this always attracts everything that you need, okay? With the Knight of Pentacles, this always speeds up anything that's supposed to be coming your way, no matter who's trying to slow it down. Yeah, your life has been restored in an amazing way, and nobody can tear that shit down except you. And that's why people so upset and why they being so quiet and sneaky. Okay, we got Make It Right playing, okay, by Lacan, I think. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are trying to put on this front like they're trying to make it right, but really they're really jealous and really hating in the background. Like, it's like this energy of they want to make it seem like they're making it right so that they can have the room to come in and sabotage. So be careful who you let in at this time, okay? Just a little warning, okay? That now is the time for you to fly, and there's a lot of people catching this wrath, okay? And nobody has the insight that you have on how shit is going in your journey. But bitches are very curious, and that's why they being quiet and being nice and shit, right? Because everything that they throw keeps rolling off your back. Any mischief or anything that they try, anything they try to do to you while you're in this energy of isolation, it just don't work. You always fly off, okay? They always miss you with the upheaval, and they're in this heavy energy of grief about it. Come on. The shit says, thou shalt not judge because thou hast fucked up too. And it's like, that's what it is. Like it's like this energy of people looking at you with some sort of holier than thou attitude, wanting to tell you what you should and should not do, and who you should and should not be, but not knowing what they should and should not do, or who the fuck they are. What's the Eight of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Five of Stakes? I'm messing up my little layout. We got the Spirit of Isis, okay? So you carry, like, first of all, it says triumph of the goddess, okay? So you are always triumphant because you know where your things come from. You know who you work for, and when it comes to dealing with other people, you're not walking around with this energy of conflict or trying to project who you are onto them. You're just accepting and you're open of them. Like I said, you keep your balance and you stay grounded and you stay in this energy of unconditional love. You naturally carry the Spirit of Isis, which is the energy of unconditional love, okay? You are a mender, a healer. You put things back together. You don't go around trying to tear things down or tear things apart, and that's why you constantly receive blessings and receive the kinds of things that you get in your life. Excuse me, confirmation on that. What's the Ace of Pentacles, the King of Stakes, and the Nine of Stakes? We got divine destiny, okay? So at this time, you're following this beautiful and amazing divine destiny, and you're not going to let anybody take you off of the path of the divine warrior. And also, it's like you walk the path of the divine warrior and you chose to walk that shit. So it's like when it comes to a fight, when it comes to an attack, when it comes to a problem, you always triumphant in those things, okay? You always come out on top. And it's really annoying to people. Yeah, we got past life, present power, but that's because you always integrate your lessons. You've integrated so much power from your past lives, and you have really uncovered like a lot of the many spiritual faces of you. You really have a great understanding of yourself and how you work and how you wish to operate and with other people and like where you belong in this life, okay? I get this feeling like you have this really great sense of purpose, you know? Like you really know what you're supposed to do. Like you really feel like you found your footing. And this is why a lot of people are so pressed and being so quiet. They're scared of that shit. What's the spirit of Isis and divine destiny? We got the portal of light, okay? Baby, 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 okay? It says she glides on wings through space and time. Come on. So you just out here gliding, okay? I'm hearing float on him, I float on him, just float, okay? They hating on this goose down in my cup. Float on him, I float on him, just float. I don't step, I don't walk, I don't dance, I just float. Okay, look at the queen of heaven. Float. Look, don't she look like she just floating through the city? That's how you do it, baby. That's divine destiny. Past life, present power. We got into the chamber of healing, you know? And it's like, but you float like that, you glide like that because you continuously go back to what needs to be healed, what needs to be fixed. Okay, Spirit, what do we need to work on today? Oh, I just felt weird. Spirit, what is that about? You know, it's like you take every single little thing to God, to your angel guides, to your ancestors and things like that in order to really get a resolution and to really get a real answer on what it is that you need to do. And because of that, you're nourished forever and ever by the divine, okay? They will always provide, okay, with this nourishment of the golden grain mother, you know? Also, like, you have accomplished golden consciousness is what he's saying, okay? And you're protected no matter what with the temple of black obsidian, you know? Like I said, you can see in the dark. It says the dark healing chamber, okay? Ooh, okay, what else? I like how it's getting like I like how it's getting progressively more positive, you know, and I feel like that's really significant about you and your journey, you know. Like maybe it started out really dark and it seemed like it was about to be all about other people forever, you know, but now it's like the more you step into this chamber of healing, the more you work on yourself, the more you embrace the true divinity of you and operate out of that energy of unconditional love, the more things become about you and the more your life just gets so brighter and the more you just get so happy and you just smile more and more every day, and that's so beautiful, you know. I really love that shit for you. I want you to like really really work hard to keep your happiness going no matter what, okay? Okay, what's the spirit of Isis, divine destiny, and the portal of light? The song saying sorry about that. Sorry about that. So some people might want to come toward you and apologize, but like I said before, I don't think they're quite ready to be in your energy even if they sorry, because they're not doing the work on themselves. It says love is its own reward, okay? It says the very act of loving is the benefit of the risk. We all want to be loved back. We all want to be supported. But when you grow up, you see that it has nothing to do with how the person who receives your love reacts at, and all about you just being willing to open your heart in this dangerous world. Be a gangster and love the fuck out of someone today. Expect nothing in return, okay? And that's what you're doing. You're just not even wanting anything back. You just like, no, it's cool, you know, I love you, have a good day. Even if they're just like, oh, you know, I hate that bitch. You got somebody real mad, okay? They mad. But they too focused on you, and that's why nothing working for them. Yeah, okay? While you out here knowing that the universe is your sugar daddy, okay? I told you, everything is being provided for you, and I showed you this golden grandmother card. You get everything that you want, okay? So don't be scared of anything. Dream as big as possible, and take whatever steps you need to take to make those things happen, because the divine is just out here just handing out shit, okay? I heard you get a car, you get a car, you get a house. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, it says, we've all spent enough time feeling fucked by the universe to assume it's time we get showered with some real dope shit. Spend today letting the universe treat you like the arm candy you are. The simple act of changing your vibe to one of receiving and thanking the universe for all its cosmic bling will do the trick. Your mantra today is bring it, Poppy, okay? Bring it, Poppy. Like, I'm ready. Just like, also, he's saying with this, okay? He's saying, like, imagine yourself being open. Like, literally, imagine blessings raining down on you at this time, okay? Or even golden rain is what I heard, okay? That could be really powerful for you, for your energy, okay? Letting the universe know you're very open to the things that they're bringing in at this time, okay? It says, think twice before you give a fuck, okay? It says, ask yourself this: what if that thing that's bothering me, no, what if that thing that's bothering me, worrying, haunting me, didn't matter? If it didn't matter, would you be happier, kinder, more productive? If it didn't matter, would you sleep better? Would you let yourself enjoy an ice cream cone or whatever else your heart desires? If so, then don't give that fuck. If not, giving a fuck means going against one of your core values, then go ahead, give that fuck. You're not supposed to never give a fuck. The point is to give them where it matters, to balance your fucks. If fucks were money, would you drop that much money here? Take care to spend your fucks wisely, okay? All right, what's the final thought on this? That was quick. So we got dominance, okay? So I mean, I think it's obvious that some people are trying to establish some sort of dominance over you, but you have dominion over yourself because of the way that you work as a team with the divine, and it's just really important that you know that, like know that there's no real thing anybody can do, okay, to stop you in any way. It says stay away from people who make you feel like you're hard to love, okay? You're not hard to love at all, baby. It's easy because you're so wonderful. You're so amazing. You're so down to earth. You're so fucking cool, and you got the nerve to be something nice to look at. Like just keep that kind of mentality about yourself and stay away from these people that feel like it's too hard and they need to judge you and they need to mold you into something better in order for them to feel like you good enough to receive their love. Fuck that. Okay. Nope, that's definitely not worth a fuck. Come on. So it says, like all creatures, crows establish a pecking order and do so. My bad. Like all creatures, crows establish a pecking order, and to do so, the stronger bird asserts its power. Dominance indicates that you may be feeling restricted by someone or that a stressful situation is impacting your thoughts and decisions. Someone or something may be flexing their muscle, which will cause friction within, as you may not be able to fight or defend yourself. This card may represent a boss who makes you work overtime, a partner who always picks the restaurant, or a friend who always has to win. It may also indicate your need to be in control. On a positive note, dominance may indicate your power over something and your ability to control a situation, okay? So at the end of the day, because you found your most powerful self within yourself, you have control over these situations. You have control over the seven scorpions or over these lower vibrational energies that wish to have dominion in your life, okay? They could never. So make sure that you exercise that power in a responsible way and continue to push out this unconditional love, and you will continue to be unfuckwithable, okay? So with that, I'm done. I hope you guys have a happy, fabulous, wonderful, and amazing day, that you got something that you need out of this, and I will see you later, my love. Bye.